Okay, so here we are at the last of the Diadochoi scenarios. Now, this is a little, oops, I haven't put the leaders on the board yet. Oh well. This is a little weird because there's units like these Spartans that have not shown up yet, and they came in the scenario pack. I am assuming that they go with some C3I scenarios or something, and the decision was, well, if you're able to play these, if you're able to get a hold of, the rules for them, give you the counters now, and you probably, they're not going to be published with a map or whatever. So that's kind of cool. I just don't know where the scenarios are hiding. A lot of the old scenarios got re-released, and there might be a package or something. If anybody wants to tell me about where I can pick up anything like that, just let me know. So this is a huge battle. It's called Ipsus, not Issus. Antigonus is old here, and everybody's kind of gathered against him. That's not why this is so big. He's only facing two of the Diadochoi here. Seleucus and, let's see, who's this other one here? Lysimachus. And we got big armies that are kind of similar, but the anti-Antigonus side has a much larger army, and we should come to the elephant in the room, which is that there are a lot of elephants in the room. So we got a big line of elephants here for Antigonus. Hey, we're used to that. His enemies often have more elephants. Well, he's got a straight line of elephants here, and then this huge block of them that I don't know what the hell we're going to do with, because they're behind the heavy infantry. And we'll see where the leaders show up. Let me put those leaders down, because that'll help me understand. So there we go. Seleucus is sitting here in that mass of elephants. Leaders on the cav sides in each case, and then for the infantry. Neither side has a whole hell of a lot of leaders, which is going to make this a quicker play than... Like Gaza took forever because there were a fair number of leaders for the amount of pieces on the board. When you have very few leaders, you basically have to slam those lines together. And it's going to be harder to stop units from routing and such now. So we got 4 leaders over here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 leaders over there. Got a crappy valued one here. Nothing outstanding, but decent leaders. Okay, let's take a look. Antigonus and Nearchus can issue the line commands to the 3-space elephant skirmisher line. And let's see, nothing too exciting here. The Lancers and the Lights are combined. Only Seleucus and Lysimachus can issue a line command to the 3-space elephant line, elephant skirmisher lines here. And nothing too exciting there, except the Lancers can combine with the heavy cav on the Seleucid side. We got the normal elephant skirmisher line command for this module. We've got the elephant screens for this module. We've got double depth phalanx units. All the phalanx and heavy infantry double-sized counters are considered to be double depth, but only portions of the rule apply. Now, normally, you've got 2 counters when you're looking at the double depth, right? Oops. Okay. Not seeing it there, so maybe it's in this scenario. I thought it was basic rules. Okay, I don't know what I've done, but I gotta find those. This is a little weird. It's referring, I guess, to 5th edition rules for these. But only portions ignore 11.71. Well, I wonder what that is. This is under 9.62 here. Forming double depth requires an order line command. Well, we don't have to form. We're not going to be able to break apart, so let's look. Each of these has a size of 20. The movement restrictions of 11.72, well, that's going to be these. Apply. Any leader can issue orders to them. The only combat effects that apply are the pre-shock DRMs. I didn't remember those last time I hit with them. I don't know. Or I think I didn't remember them. Gotta be careful. There's nobody to nag me anymore. And the tripling of cohesion hits if these are attacked from the flank or rear. Which I also don't remember. I don't know. Anyway, they're heftier. And then we have one extra. Maybe I'll remember to look at the rules. We have one extra rule here, special. Antiochus may have been given the mission of leading Demetrius off the field. Either that or he just got routed. Demetrius pursued him off the field and didn't return. Additionally, if any cavalry unit under Demetrius's control pursues, it doesn't stop at the map edge, but continues off the map and doesn't return. If any of Demetrius's units pursue off the map edge, then Demetrius and any unit he's stacked with must exit the map. Any unit that exits the map rolls during rally and recovery to see if it can return at the beginning of the next game turn. On a roll of 0, it returns. Any other die roll fails. Demetrius remains off the map until the last exited unit returns. I guess you could roll each turn. All units return within 10 hexes of 1005, which I guess is up here. And this must be Demetrius over here. So even if he goes running off this way somehow. And they may enter enemy zone of control upon entry, but not into an enemy-occupied hex. Without Demetrius on the board, it'll be difficult to control the heavy cavalry, which will neutralize it for the most part. And then our victory looks like 100 route points on each side, which doesn't seem like a whole hell of a lot with this many units. Again, these huge scenarios, it says it's going to be 8 hours. But my experience has been the bigger the scenario, doesn't proportionally increase the length of it. All right, we're going to take a break before we face this, but yeah, this is going to be a big one. Okay, Antiochus, if we must. Antiochus. You know, it's what it looks like. Nobody corrected me yet, but sometimes I just realize on my own. Is in a perplexing situation. He is a level 3 initiative leader. If I move this elephant line forward, I'm opening it up, and we're going to see a mass line move forward. We've seen this happen before. Elephants clash. The person leading the attack gets the advantage. But if I don't lead it forward, the battle happens back here. I don't know. Or this cav sweeps down and just deals with things, right? I don't think I have much choice. I think I have to launch the elephants forward. One of the reasons is to get my half the battlefield. Line got a continuation. However, A, it didn't get trumped, no attempt, and B, I didn't launch actual elephants. Remember, there's somewhat of an advantage to being the guy who hits with the elephants first, but it would have disrupted my line. I would have only been able to move 3 of my elephants forward. I didn't want to be way over at the edge or whatever. No, I could have. But So instead what I did was I used some of my skirmishers that are mixed in to try to get additional hits on the elephants. The feeling being my skirmishers are just going to melt away in the face of the elephant attack. There's not much they can do about that. But if they can get an extra hit in, it helps a little bit in terms of weakening that enemy line. And if I take an extra hit, it probably isn't a big deal because, again, they're probably just going to melt. That puts me to a 4. I actually have a 4 on this side, but it has to be over here. And that gives me the 2 cav wings to choose. I'll go with the heavier one, I guess. Well, see, no, because I force him to make a decision. Because, again, it's one of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anything beyond the line is going to be attackable, basically. And I got these archers and lights in front. So if he launches his cav forward, I can get some shots in on it or whatever. So it helps me to do this. Probably all it means is that the cav line doesn't move forward very far. And the disposition of the 2 cav flanks has been taken up. All the heavies over here. Yeah. Forming into charge formation. Getting a little closer. And then over here, staying away from the charge range, not let them get that first strike in. Kind of want to move a little faster, but who knows, weird shit might happen, trumping and such not, where I get an advantage by delaying a little bit. I don't want to delay too much because this elephant line is a little stronger than mine. It's going to get first strike and it's going to win the fight as far as I can tell. Then over here, big mass of light cav moving forward, setting up charge formation, but not really advancing at all because this is such a heavier cav set. And I don't want to face it until I have to. There's some danger to this, which is, well, first of all, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And basically at range. I think I may have moved forward a little bit. I don't know. Oh, he should have moved forward. That wasn't part of a line. Basically, I had to get a continuation, but I had that unit in range and then could pick up the other units, so it wasn't a big deal, and I want to keep everybody together. But I want to be on one end or the other so that I can launch a line from one end and then move over and either launch another line or, if I don't get line. Although, honestly, with a 5 command, my line is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units instead of 5. So it's pretty close, but I can't move all of my units with one command unless I create some kind of block of units like those elephants over there. So that puts me to the 5s, and we don't have a lot of choices here. I don't think that infantry line is going to move. It looks to me like we want to launch our elephants. This is the big ugly fight that's going to happen on this first turn. And then we figure out where we go from there. We do get some options after that elephant line goes, which is, do we move the infantry line forward, or do we move this block of elephants to do something? I like that as a reserve better. Plug holes in the phalanx line, or if one of the cav sides, most likely that one, breaks, we just swing that line of elephants in and say, yeah, none shall pass. Of course, I fucked things up. I tried to skew them to fix it, but I forgot about what the bonus was for attacking, which is you get a +1 on the TQ check. Well, the defender gets a +1 on the TQ check against elephants. I tried to fix it, but I think I largely gave I got rid of that advantage on the Seleucid side, partially. However, got a momentum and did more damage than I took. Just maybe I would have routed an elephant or more early. Maybe I would have routed a couple more elephants, or maybe I would have routed them earlier in the sequence than I did. I rolled all the TQ checks and then realized, oh fuck, I forgot about that. There are other advantages to attacking as well, but we were hitting the flank here, and there were a couple other places where we were able to get flank attacks on the follow-ups, and we really kind of smashed the center of that elephant line. Although one rampaging Antigonine unit hit a couple of these phalanxes over here. But for the most part, I think it's working well on the Seleucid side of things. Overall, they have the advantage in my view in this battle, so I don't mind too much that I accidentally cheated in favor of the other side. The only place where maybe they have some strength. So, I mean, the infantry lines are about equal. The TQ levels for routing are about equal. Well, they are exactly equal. There's a much, much heavier cav presence here for them. But over here, Demetrius has a powerful cav force. I don't know, they tend to imply that this battle would swing the other way. If you do that, did we have... I don't think they give a... For most of these, they tell you how balanced it is, if I recall correctly. Maybe not. Difficulty and balance. Okay. It's earlier. It's a large battle. The Seleucids have a significant numerical advantage in cavalry and a 4-1 in elephants. Yeah. So the Antigonid is going to have trouble here. I would say if it weren't for this huge elephant reserve, it wouldn't be that unbalanced, but that's the thing that could conceivably cause this to change. And the fact that I felt like the Antigonid had to, I want to call him Antigonine, but it's Greek, not Roman. But I do keep misapplying. That's okay. I did feel like I had to advance those elephants and try to grab part of the battlefield, just because the cav will have too hard. It's the cav that's the danger, and that's the stuff that can route off the map. And with the high speeds and everything, you want to have some distance. The heavy infantry, that dies if it dies. That's all that comes about for it. Got to try to remember to apply the rules for that as well. I think that throws us over here, and damned if I know what I want to do, but I'm fatigued. That was a pretty hefty engagement there, So that's the thing that, they say it'll take 8 hours or whatever. It doesn't feel like it to me because I don't make as many pauses. But that was a big sequence of actions that I had to take there. So, whatever. Think of a painful set of actions. Antigonus threw his heavy line forward, and you can see I'm trying to refuse the flank. This is as much as I could and keep the line together to prevent those cav from causing real havoc on it. My feeling is they can probably pick off the unit, but then that might expose that big cav formation, if I'm lucky, to attacks by my lighter cav formation over there. But then I used him to move over here and launch a few elephant attacks. And those didn't go terribly well. Basically, they were even attacks. My elephants were equally beaten up compared to Seleucids. But, and I didn't do movement or anything, I just launched the attacks. I think I took more losses overall from it. I did send another elephant back hitting the phalanx line. I don't know how much difference that's going to make. And that puts me over to the big question of what I do with this huge formation of elephants. And of course, there's this infantry line. I could start recovering the damage that I did to the infantry line. I can't move that whole formation of elephants forward at once, but I could start dispatching parts of it, one line here, one line there, whatever, which might make more sense than trying to cover. Yeah, I mean, there's no ground for me to cover with my phalanx line. So, yeah. Continuation there. So this is the battlefield. Counted up the points. Seleucus has taken 12 losses. Antigonus has taken 24. Now, that seems like a big deal. Hey, I'm taking double losses. That's not the real factor in play here. The real factor in play is that Seleucus has gotten some breakthroughs with his elephants. It looks like he'll probably be able to mop up the line of the elephants and rely on his greater quantity of cav over here and the excess elephants that he has in reserve to fight the battle. I'm not even worried. I didn't get the continuation. I don't know if I mentioned that, but that meant I didn't send another line and I didn't get to repair any of these heavies. But that kind of means that I can either leave my line of garbage in the way and prevent these from being able to approach my line at all. I mean, yes, they can, but hitting elephants is not fun. Even if you rout them, they rampage and you're close to them then. So my goal is to prevent the two big infantry lines from clashing, because that could be the lucky break. Antigonus could end up winning that fight by a little bit, and it doesn't take much. These units are huge. I think, they're still worth only double their value. They're not worth quadruple their value because they're like double depth or whatever. But still, you can get to 100 points real quick if you get very lucky there. So I'd much rather rely on my advantages in the other arms, whereas the infantry is actually pretty damn close to even. All right, I think that's it for tonight. My stomach seems to be talking a lot. Some further disruption in the center that's hurting Antonius. Oh, I think that's his name. Yeah, I think so. I'm confused because I haven't taken this here. But, and you can see, he's basically got nothing in the center anymore. He's got a skirmisher here, skirmisher there. Leader. And then these. And that's really it. I think this is a red one. Yep. So, that an elephant duel in the center is done. And what does it mean? I don't know. Because it's cluttering up. There's still elephants there, so it's still hard to go plowing through it. And we're forced to make the decision of whether or not we want to cover this. I chose not to make the attack on the flank. Give him a chance to pass. If he passes, then that flank doesn't, then that flank's hanging open without a response, because I'll be able to move again before he goes. Just the way the number of commanders go, because I've got 2 4-point commanders, he's got a 4. There's really not a lot I can do there except if a trump happens. A pass by moving the cav leader up here and activating some of these units. Now, I didn't get a momentum, which meant my cav is now kind of leaderless, which is problematic. And that meant I could launch forward with my archers shot up. Got a couple hits on these Lydians, but was unable to get a momentum as well. And that puts us over to the cav over there, which is free to move, but has some potential for danger if it does so. I got this horrible mental block against pushing my troops until I'm given little other options. So in this case, I launch a line here. I've got a fair chance of a continuation. If I'd moved up here and gotten the continuation, I could have launched an attack. But instead what I do is I move to bring the rest of the line up first, which is starting to make it much less likely that I'll be able to land, you know, that outflank that I could have had. Why? I can tell you. In my soul, it's impossible for me to do damage to these units, to do the tactical quality damage to these units by pushing them for another action. There's something fundamentally wrong with me, but, you know, when I'm left with, hey, I can move something for free. Now, there's also the, hey, you know, I'd be leaving my units behind, but I did stuff like this. I'm not sure I'm totally opposed to that. It's just the, I could move something for free that would do me some good, or I could do something that's going to cost me but has a greater benefit. And I have this problem in a lot of things, like in economic games, where, I'm thinking like 2038 here, where like Resources Unlimited, one of the companies, RU, is able to place a free claim every turn. And so I don't want to buy claims because I will eventually get all my free claims. But some of them, you know, there's a reason to pay more, you know, for certain items. And in this case, there was a good reason to move my commander up and try to launch that attack. And I just see I didn't want to do it. That actually throws me over here. Turn kind of turned into a weird sort of passing and maneuvering turn, a little bit cleared up in here, but Antigonus ran around rallying and moving a few units, not much at all. Could have used him over here to launch that cav forward at the very least without risking too much, but didn't do that. Back here, elephant lines moving around here, there, and everywhere. My main worry being this big cav formation. Hey, I want to make sure I've got my elephants going there. I'm not that concerned with my front line of infantry. I got a bunch of elephants in the way. Exactly what I want there. And yeah, it really looks to me like Seleucus has this one, but it's hard to tell. Oh, I haven't counted my numbers yet. I'm sure they're still bad for Antigonus. The preliminary stuff, Nearchus over here did a little bit in here, just basically moving some units over. Killed a couple of elephants, one on each side, and recuperated this one a little. And he actually got a momentum for whatever that's worth, I think. Not positive, but yeah, he must have. To be back here, because I think I fired a missile. Well, maybe not, maybe not. Anyway, this guy moved his cav forward. Again, same situation I had over here, where somebody didn't get a momentum and didn't take his line into effect. He got a momentum this time. It got trumped. I trumped it over here, and that means there's a no momentum over there. Is there a 4? Yeah. This guy also has a trump to no momentum, which is, of course, the negative. I could have trumped in with him, but this is a way to assure that I get an attack over here. Now that might, since I'm set up to try to move a line here, we'll see. That might end up causing another trumping in with another leader. After moving that calf line up, we got a continuation. An attempt to trump failed this time, and we've got a line command here that I rolled and succeeded with. So I should be able to do some damage over here. Now I got to pay attention because there's special rules in this scenario on Demetrius. To do a little bit of whittling around the edges here, cut a unit and routed it, hit some of these heavies from behind. This was multiple continuations plus driving some skirmishers off on this side. So I don't know what it means, because he's up next and gets to try to counteract, but his formation's been kind of broken up a little bit. Of course, I got all these elephants behind me to back it up. Without any momentums, I knew I had to kind of make it count. Rallied that unit, but otherwise threw a couple of elephants in, scared away the skirmisher and the cav that had my flank there. And that's all we're doing on that side of the battlefield. That swings us back over to him. Andronicus, who got a line command to move forward that infantry line. Nothing prevents that from happening. And start whittling away at that elephant mass that's between the two heavy infantry lines. This is not a good situation no matter what. I mean, smashing into elephants is bad. And it, as you can see, it's disrupted my line. But one of the advantages to it is that I grabbed Antigonus along with the line, brought him forward, and am using, you know, in that case, he can maybe help out a little bit. The problem is elephants have missiles, so we can't really recuperate stuff with them. And I'm also not going to be able to get a good line command in play. I could move something like this or something and start sweeping through, but that leaves me vulnerable to a massive attack on the now exposed flanks of my infantry, of my phalanx line. And that's not something I want to see either. So there's kind of no great solution here. As long as those, the only thing that would have worked is if I had mainly cleared the elephants out of there earlier, because no matter what, I'm going to be disorganized and have hits against me when these things finally slam into me, which are really, you know, there's plenty of time for Soyuz to do that at his own desires. So what was that? That was a 4 liter. We should be on a 5 over here if we got one. I don't think we do. Which means if there's a 5 kicking around back here, which I think I used the only one there is, which then puts me back to the 6 over here. And this battle, part of it is the lack of leadership, in terms of just not enough leaders in play, is developing more slowly than you're used to in a GPOH. After launching a fairly, I don't know, unsuccessful because I'm got a unit routing, I don't know. I mean, I bested up some elephants for what it's worth. Attack, my momentum roll was the bad die roll of doom, which is the reactivation. The crisis of faith is kind of weird, but the reactivation meant I was able to whip some cav around here and smash the shit out of this flanks cav. And that's a real problem, because if I'm going to be able to wipe out this cav early, boom, you know, boom maybe anyway, but because, you know, the hoplites are moving forward. But yeah, that's a big risk. And we're done. I'll flip lots of counters and give you the count. And then we're probably going to load this one up, because this battle looks like it's going to go for a while. The situation's a little muddled, you know. I don't like this situation for Antigonus, but whatever. Over here, things are not going well. Over here, things are going okay, but there's a lot of elephants coming. Overall, I'd say just looking at the field, hey, Seleucus has the advantage. And he definitely has the advantage on points. We're past the halfway point on Antigonus. And you know, I mean, the point is I've got to make these guys count and hit the line and just break it. And that basically is coming to the, I think I've got to get super lucky, you know, because this line's not moving forward. So it's not exposed flanks in any case. I'm not going to break through this and be able to smash into that the rear of that line. So pretty much the only real hope I have is either to break this and not get destroyed by all those elephants, which looks completely hopeless, or to get really lucky smashing through these elephants, which so far hasn't been happening. And I don't know, you know, there's the standoff push rolls between hoplite units, and maybe I can just, again, get really, really lucky for that. But that's about the only hope I have, is a whole lot of luck. All right, we're going to send this one up because, again, like I said, I mean, I'm halfway through the points, you know, and I'm not sure that's going to change much, although it may just be that Seleucid has, or the Seleucid side has enough oomph in it right now to finish this pretty quickly.